Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John. I'm coming to you today with some bits of news and opinions on what's going on with the new Camelot that the mainstream media is wetting themselves over, trying to push down our throats one more time.
What in the world?
It's a continuation of everything that has been going on for the last 3.5 years and will continue because we have 6 more months of Joe Biden sitting in office, sitting somewhere or sleeping somewhere that we don't know about because no one tells us anything other than lies from the podium when they're asked questions by the news media. We have a few news people that cannot garner the truth out of Karine Jean-Pierre. She still carries the line that Joe Biden is just the best president since George Washington, and you don't understand, he's so good, and he's this, and he's that, and the other thing. Well, Joe is a pissed-off individual right now because he has knives sticking out of his back, put there by Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of those louts that lied to us, the American people, that put them in office to do a job which they have failed miserably at.
That stinks.
And now we have to listen all about how wonderful and how energetic and young and just ready to take over that Kamala Harris is. Come on. She has a record that she cannot run on. It's almost impossible to understand what the hell she's talking about half of the time. And then she gives a press conference it was a fundraising deal, I'm sure, when she spoke to the Houston Teachers Union and misinformed everyone in the world that watched that the Republicans want to ban books while she wants to ban guns, and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me explain to you quickly what the Republicans want to do. They want to prevent your 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 13-year-old, 16-year-old from being pushed into reading books that tell them how to be gender fluid and change their gender. If you're not happy with this, then you can be somebody else. That kind of book, yes, they want that out of the schools. They're not banning the book. They're just telling you cannot have this in an educational system. And by the way, an educational system that has been failing the United States now for quite some time. Look at the numbers that we put out right now in reading, in math, in the sciences, and even English. It's not conducive to continuing with the education system the way it is now. And they're not calling for the complete cancellation of the Department of Education. They just want to clean out the DEI hires that are in there with their own agendas that feel that your children should be taught how to be deviant or practice deviant behavior that should not be pushed on them. For the sake of what? The Democrats do not want the educational system fixed because it benefits them right now. The Republicans want it fixed to increase the scores in our sciences, our math, our reading potentials, and be back in the first part and the highest ranking in the world stage today in education. We had that at one time until they changed the school systems, and I believe, my personal belief is it all started with the Montessori moms that had to have everybody treated differently. And then it got worse because even in young person sports, everybody now gets a trophy. There are no winners. There are no losers. Everybody is the same. That's not true. This is a meritocracy and always has been. You get what you achieve in life. There are no special people in life. You can make yourself special by working at it. We forgot that, and the Democratic Party applauds that we forgot that. And don't ever forget that. And when you're looking at Kamala Harris, look at her record, her running record on education, on law, on order, and anything else that she has been outspoken in the past about during her Senate seat, during her prosecutorial job that she achieved, and we won't go into how she achieved it in California. It wasn't by merit, let me just say that. And she's running around now like the new queen of the prom. And it's all good until it blows up. Her numbers in the past have been next to nothing when she ran for office the last time. And I don't believe after this honeymoon period it will get any better. And that brings us to, we have a absentee president sitting there for the next 6 months. And under his watch, one more time, we have an incursion by Russian and Chinese military airplanes off the coast of Alaska to where we had to scramble fighter jets to make sure that no harm came to us.
What?
And there's readily available videos for you to look at where they actually were refueling right off the coast of Alaska. How much more of a stick can they poke at us when they know we are at our weakest point as a nation because we're leaderless right now? And the Chinese news networks came out with a statement yesterday that said Kamala Harris is mediocre. That was on this morning's news. That ought to tell you something. You ought to think about that. But there it is. We have Russian submarines less than 60 miles off the coast of Florida. You have warships in Cuba. How close do you want them to get? And we have at least 1 million people in this country that were let in unvetted that are part of the Chinese army or military in some fashion, peppered all through the United States. How soon do you think it's going to be before the cell phones go off and say it's time to act?
Here we go again.
This is not a situation that we should be in. This Friday, the 26th of July, and we have to go all the way to November with a feckless president, or what's left of him, hiding out.
Sure? Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
God only knows what Kamala met with Netanyahu yesterday and discussed. God only knows what was discussed by Biden when he sat down with Netanyahu with his fake teeth smile. I'm sure it was nothing of major substance, and neither of them afterwards would answer a reporter's question. They left the podium, boom, gone, just like Biden has done for the last couple of years. So we don't know what was said or promised or taken away from Benjamin Netanyahu in those two meetings yesterday. We do know this. Neither of those guys were present for his speech, a very strong and powerful discussion with a joint session of Congress that Kamala didn't see fit to be there because she was at a fundraising event with her sorority sisters. That ought to tell you just how engaged Kamala Harris will be during this election cycle. She gets to a podium and lies, and then lies about the lies. So it's more of the same. Can we put up with another 4 years of this? Can you put up with 1 more or 6 more months of listening to her grating voice?
Better take some buffer.
I can't. I believe, and this is my belief, that she's a complete phony. And she cannot put a speech together or hold her own against anyone, and I can hardly wait for the debate with Donald Trump, between Donald Trump and her, which I think should include Robert F. Kennedy Jr. all the way. But they'll do their best to keep him out of there because they don't want another opinion rising against the current administration as it is right now. And the mistake on top of mistakes that they have made for the last 3.5 years. And the fact that Kamala, which is the closest person to Joe Biden, kept up the lies about his cognitive decline and his inabilities to handle the office that he sat in and continues to sit in.
What the hell?
He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to push out his last 6 months and then collect on whatever promises that Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer made for him, probably protecting Hunter at all costs.
What a maroon.
These people cannot be trusted any longer. The United States legacy media cannot be trusted in anything they say. They are starting the lie fest all over again, and they just replaced Joe with Kamala. They're not going to change their opinions. They're lying about her the way they lied about Joe.
History of television. And there's more, because you are going to see it as well.
And it will continue and continue and continue as long as we let it. The only recourse we have is the voting lever, and we need to pull it as best as we can with what we know, not what mainstream media tells you. It's there before your eyes and in your ear every day. And people like Joy Reid, Joy Behar, and Rachel Maddow should be put off the air because they've been caught in lie after lie after lie, and they are shills for this current administration die-hardly. They need to be put off the air, along with Morning Joe. These people are not truthful. They give you false information, and they're backing a party when they should be bipartisan. News should not be left, right, or in between. It should be pure and simple news without a leftist opinion or a right opinion. Tell us the truth. We are smart enough, we, the American people, are smart enough to make our own decisions. We don't need to be told by Joe Scarborough, above all, how to think. And he invoked the name of Jesus Christ the other day. He has a lot of nerve. He has a lot of nerve. Enough of that. It's Friday. We're looking forward to a great weekend. I hope you all are planning something good for the weekend. Kaiser and I are going to try to get out, as I said, to Rocky Mount and get some film over there in that village and bring that to you over the weekend. We will. And the weather here is somewhat clearing. It's still overcast and cloudy. We had a lot of rain yesterday and a lot of rain the day before, which is well needed. And we haven't been doing much farm work, but it's building, and I'm going to have to cut pastures again before too long, so that'll take up a lot of time next week, I'm sure, if it's dry enough. But we all need to say a prayer for this country right now and do it every day until this debauchery of an election is over with. I believe that they do now that Barack and Michelle Obama have come out this morning and endorsed Kamala Harris, which they had refused to do earlier, but they've done it now. Kamala Lawton instead of Kamala. It's unbelievable. But it's a sideshow. This whole administration is kind of, and I've told you this time and time again, you've got a carnival cabinet. It used to be you had to pay money to go see freaks and carnival acts.
Sideshow Bob.
They're all right there in front of you every day. And it's a show. They're going to keep the show up until they get their way and the cheat and everything else that goes along with it, so we need to remain diligent. If you are like me, I am going to volunteer as a poll watcher to make sure that we don't have illegals lining up to do the job that they were brought into this country to do, and make sure that things stay legitimate and they're not delivering boxes afterwards and things of that nature. So if you have an opportunity to go to your local polling station and sign up, please do. And remember, if there's an open position for your school boards, get on it. Go back to the community telling them what to do rather than them telling the community what will happen. Mm-hmm. It's important that we now take back our government and remind them that they're elected by us to do the job we sent them to Washington, D.C. to do. And that job is not lining your pocketbook for your beautiful retirement.
And that's why they pay me the big bucks.
It's to go out of a walk of life that you've been successful at, go in, serve your country, and go back to that walk of life and give the next person a chance to bring their expertise into the job that is needed to be done in our government. They forgot this when they became dependent on career politicians. We don't need them. We need good, honest people. And we need a media that's not tearing apart anybody that steps up to the plate to take those jobs. Our media has been corrupted. We can't trust it. We shouldn't be listening to it. And the only thing that these networks will realize is if their ratings plummet into the toilet, they'll have to do something. So if we all take a sabbatical, take a week off from watching Morning Joe. Take a week off from watching CNN. See what happens. If they don't have the ratings, they won't push this down our throat. They'll find some other avenue to do it, but it won't be with these people. They're liars, and they are affecting the process of election and interfering in it every day. Don't forget that. So from the Kaiser Report, we wish you all a very happy weekend. It's Friday. If you're thinking about cooking out, don't forget our sponsor, Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop. You can find them on Facebook under Lazy J Farms, or you can call them directly and place an order to pick up or have it delivered to your home. And tell Butch, when you place your order, Kaiser sent you. So with that, we're going to say, have a great weekend. Don't forget to pray for our leaders, pray for our government, pray for each other, and show love in your heart, not hate and disgust like the people that destroyed the Columbus statue and the bell, writing Hamas on it. These are the people, these are the Harris voters that we're talking about. Don't forget that. So with that, have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye now. Have a good one.